Do you want to?
Thank you, guys. So today is the portion of Mishpatim. We just read verse 493 till 99. Really speaks about tithing, but not about just about the physical tithing, but it speaks about who we are as Israelites in reference of the Torah, of the light force, and really what this whole journey is about. So it was really deep. I got tons of insights, and I'm going to incorporate it in the teachings I'm going to do about Rav Ashlag. So starting today, we're going to read the letter Rav Ashlag wrote that's called Matan Torah, which was about the Torah. And I'm reading from the book The Wisdom of the Truth by Rav Ashlag. And the reason why I decided to do that is because for us to really be part in our hearts, being part of the center, we need to know our teachers and what he did for us. Like Joel said in the beginning of the session, that Michael Berg is like guiding us to the path. So Rav Ashlag was forging the path for us. And he left us with unbelievable knowledge of what is it that we need to do in order to make this place a paradise for us. You know, paradise to live, experience paradise. No chaos, just love and happiness and fulfillment and blessings and everything that we desire and work so hard every day to accomplish. So we're going to dwell into those verses of Rav Ashlag. I'm going to read the Hebrew and translate, and we're going to discuss it. It's going to be slow motion because I want to touch deeply in every verse. I want to go into it, and I will incorporate it in the last 10 minutes of our recording. I will speak about it in reference to what we read about tithing. Okay. So this verse of the giving of the Torah by Rav Ashlag speaks about Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. We know it's a very famous, and it says, Rabbi Akiva says, this is a great rule of the Torah. Love your neighbor as yourself. And Rav Ashlag is really, in his special way, is really diving into it and explaining all those aspects to us from the sages, from the Gemara and the Mishnah and Chazal, and he goes deep and deep and deep just to bring water from that fountain. Okay. So this verse, Chazal said, please elaborate it to me, because the word klal means, when you say, Rabbi Akiva says it's a klal gadol b'Torah. What's the understanding of klal? The word klal, which is everybody, indicates the sum of the individuals that among their participants together were framed in the same unification. And it found, when it says about this mitzvah, this precept of love your neighbor as yourself, which is a great klal, which means that we need to understand what it means that is so great, that all the rest of 312, of 612 precepts in the Torah, including all the verses inside, are nevertheless are no more than the accumulations of the details that are inserted and conditioned in this one precept of love your neighbor as yourself. And these are really, like he's saying here, that the explanation of these precepts of Ve'ahavta le'reacha kamocha, love your neighbor as yourself, is inclusive the entire 612, rest of the 612 precepts of the Torah. And he says, how come? How come? And when I read it was Shabbat. I took the kids to the park. David was sleeping. I gave Nomi some time off. So I took the kids for an hour to the park next. They were riding bicycle. They were having fun. I could really go deep. And Rabbi Ashlag is saying this precept, single precept, is so incredible. So how come? Because this precept is between people. It's not between us and the Creator. So how can it be so inclusive for the entire precepts of the Torah? How come? How come, guys? And then he says, if we can dwell deeper into it and really find, Nityageya means that we are working hard to find something. How can we reconcile those words of the sages? How can we reconcile that? Here we have a second thing, a second verse, which is more obvious in the same way that there was one guy thousands of years ago came to Hillel, and it says in the Talmud, in the section of Shabbat, in page 31, and he told Hillel, guys, Hillel was
I'll be back.
Sage. He used to live, if I'm not mistaken, in the times of the first temple. He was a great sage. He was a leader, one of the leaders of the Israelites here in Israel. And this guy came to him and tell him, teach me the Torah while I'm standing on a single leg. And then he told him, what is being hated by you, you should not be doing to your friend. And that's the translation. And that's the translation of love your neighbor as yourself. And all the rest of the Torah, is commentary on that. This is crazy. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? If I love my neighbor as myself and I do it completely, that means that, what does it mean? It means I'm fulfilling the entire Torah. It means I'm doing everything I'm expected to do. So it goes even deeper. Now he's starting to really help us understand that. We need to know that there was no favorite
in all the 613 precepts and all of the Torah on this one precept of love your neighbor as yourself. Because when we come to interpret and allow ourselves to fulfill that precept, and it says that all the rest is interpretation, that means that all the rest of the Torah are the interpretation of that precept. That means that we cannot execute this precept like they. And now let's go deeper into it. And before we go deeper into it, we need to observe this precept in its physical way. Because we are commanded to love your neighbor as yourself. As the word as yourself, meaning that you will love your neighbor in the same level, in the same extent as you love yourself. No less and no more. So I paused on it and contemplated a little bit on that. So what happens if I don't love myself? How can I love somebody else if I don't love myself? What happens if I love myself so much and I really don't see anybody around me? I'm self-absorbed so much. That's the other side of it. Let's continue. That means that I'm committed to always stand and watch over myself and fulfill all the needs of every person that is around me. No less, as I always watching over to fulfill my personal needs. And this is really weird because not everybody in their working day could fulfill themselves. So how can we fulfill all the needs of everybody else around us? And it doesn't make sense to think that the Torah speaks in such an exaggerated way. That's why the Torah says, you don't add and you don't take less, you don't give less. And that says that this precept is says in this exact way. Love your neighbor as yourself. If you love yourself this much, this is what you love your neighbor. If you love yourself that much, this is how you're supposed to love your neighbor. So I want to pause here just a moment and really look into it. We're going to do it in few sessions. It's not going to be today. It's a very long article. And we're going to take it little by little just for us to connect to Rabbi Ashlag and his out of the world way of looking at reality. So what does it say so far? He says that love your neighbor as yourself is a great precept. It's a single precept that is inclusive to the entire 612 precepts of the Torah. And it's so deep and so strong and so committed, that means that we need to fulfill it in its literal way. That's what he says so far. So we're going to go even deeper on that. So I want to connect with Rav Ashlag. Just for us to understand what the center is about. So please, guys, it's an open question. What's the center is about? What do we do here? Open your mics and give me answers.
Yosef, I also want to let you know that it seems like we've lost the audio from your earpiece to your computer.
Yeah, I think my earpiece is gone.
Yeah. I didn't want to
Hold on.
interrupt.
We can still hear you well. Just wanted to let you know.
What
Well,
we're
Can you
doing
hear
in
me?
the center, what we're doing in the center, what is the name? The goal of the center is to get ready of cows and
chaos in the world. Mhm.
and suffering and we
Remove
are
chaos, right?
our
Mhm.
cows,
Remove chaos from the world.
from the world.
Okay.
Yes.
So how the center is doing it?
Through the Zohar and
Zohar is a tool.
yes.
How the center is doing it? Like, let's break it down
Teaching
to action.
teaching us that the way of drive, the way of conduct, giving us the tools and being the example.
Thank you. Joshua also said Rav Ashlag created the center so people can transform themselves. That's one of the things the center is doing. It's help people transform themselves. But really, the center is a platform for us to transform, to change, to learn, to be more connected with our soul, more connected with the light force, enable ourselves living a full life free of chaos. And when a majority of people is doing that, so it's infecting the entire world. And this power is being revealed through us to the entire world. And one of the tools, one of the ways the center is doing that, it's self-sustained. That means that we are, the students, we are sustaining the center by our one house membership, by giving donations and tithings and volunteering and supporting the cause of the center. So let me tell you a personal thing about it. So it took me many years to understand that myself alone, I'm like really have zero influence on how the light force is being revealed in my life. It's only me. If I'm a part of a group that does that as a group, it's like one day, Meir Sharon explained, if you pray alone, it's like you're drawing a single line of connection from the Creator. If you pray in a minyan, it's not like 10 guys, it's not like 10 lines, it's exponentially multiplied.
Mm.
That's the power of the center. It's the power of the group, of doing things as a group. We restrict as a group. When I restrict, it's easier for you to restrict. When I give, it's easier for you to give. When we do it as a group, when we give tithing as a group, when we give donation, when we volunteer, when we share Zohar, when we read Zohar, why do we always say one soul with the Rav and Karen and all the centers all around the world? Why do we say that? So we can be connected with the group. So we can move mountains as a group. And I can tell you From my personal experience, I'm like getting so much support from Karen, even today, these days. I'm few people that know me better, a little deeper. I'm sharing those stories with them. Like Karen comes to me and tells me what to do in my business. So why did I marry that? Why? Karen is available for each and every one of you.
Amen.
In whenever you need. She's right here. She's right here. Right, Michelle?
Yes.
She wants you to listen to her. Rav wants you to listen to what he said to you this morning when you prayed. He whispered the meditations in your ear. Did you listen to it? Did you have the merit to hear it? Do you have the merit to hear Rav Ashlag, Rav Brenwine, the Ari? They're all here to support us. They want us to be successful in this journey.
Amen.
How come some people merit it and some people not? We need to give our hearts to that process. Our hearts, our money, our time, everything. If you want to see great miracles in your life, you need to be fully invested. Fully invested. The only reason why Karen is helping me so much is because I'm fully invested. It says in the Zohar that there is a time when the Creator is telling of that person, he will never come and be bad again. We want to reach that level. That our ability to overcome our opponents, it says, Yodea ta'alumot ya'id alav, she'ino yashuv lekislo. The Holy One, blessed be He, is witnessing on that person that he will never come again and listen to his evil inclination. This is where we want to go in all aspects of our lives. And the secrets of giving away something that you was working so much to earn. Like the Zohar said in verse 598. And this is why in the tree, which is the tree of life, which means the Torah, which is Zeir and Pin, in those who is dealing with that. Who are those who is dealing with that? It's us. What is the dealing with the Torah? Is looking and searching. Where is my next restriction? Where is it? What is it that I need to overcome right now? What is my Satan is whispering in my ear that I need to overcome? He's guiding me. I used to say, Satan is your best friend because he's guiding you. What is it that you need to overcome right now so you could manifest all these energies that you need to manifest?
Yes.
And they go after the blossom. This is our blossom. Our blossom. Our success of overcoming our Satan is our blossom. And this is what we need to tithe, to give away. The reason why Moses was so powerful is because he was so humble. Everything he received was from the treasure of free gifts. That's what we want to connect to that treasure of free gifts. And by giving 10% away of your time, your money, to the center, to that place, that everything that it does every day is helping other people reach that level. Be part of that in your heart, in your mind, in our mind and heart. It's a huge merit. Huge merit. So let me finish with that. We want to receive everything in our lives. All the blessings, all the sustenance, the health, the kids, the success. And we want to be able not just to receive it, we want to be able to give it away. At least give it away as much as you want to enjoy it. Give it away. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. That's what Rav Ashlag says. Don't be afraid to be what you came to the world to be. Thank you, guys. Questions?
Yeah, Yosef, you mentioned that to love thy neighbor as thyself is to not do unto your neighbor that you wouldn't like to be done unto you. And I thought about that a while ago. How about this? That which your neighbor doesn't like to be done to him, you shouldn't do. Because sometimes, what we would do for ourselves or what we wouldn't think is untoward, your neighbor may think so. So what really matters is how your neighbor feels, right?
Right. Yeah, Rav Ashlag is gonna give really 1% examples. Like he's gonna give example about a chair. If you're sitting on a chair and there's somebody coming and he doesn't have a chair, what do you do? Okay. It happens sometimes in the center when you come on Shabbat and you're sitting down and all of a sudden somebody comes along and he stands. He can stand far away from you. And you're looking at him and you say, oh, he doesn't have a place to sit. What do you do? What do you do at that time? Do you stand up? Do you try to help him? Do you give him your seat? What do you do? So I want to leave it with that open question because we're going to discuss it next time. What do you do when you see somebody that is lacking something that you have? What do you do? What do you truly do? Just check yourself up. Don't give me an answer. Just check yourself in. What do you do? More questions, guys.
The thing that touched me most in what you said, Yosef, is that last part about don't be afraid to be your better self. That's a very powerful idea. And I was relating it in my own mind to tithing. I do tithing, but when I do it, there's a lot of anxiety. It's like, and kind of defeats the purpose, I guess. But if you're feeling that level of, but you said the word fear, and I never thought of it that in that way. That the anxiety that I'm feeling is definitely coupled with fear. It's the fear that's causing the anxiety. And what is that? What is the source of the fear? Is that Satan?
What's going to happen with me if I give it away?
Mm-hmm.
What's am I going to be left with when I give it away? So let me tell you, when you give those 10%, you got left with 100% energy. Let me emphasize that. Okay, as I shared last week, my washing machine was broken down. And it seems to be dying, I think, in the past year. So I'm also giving tithing constantly, and I do it with a lot of love and really to support the purpose of the center. And that washing machine was lasting for 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's in years of washing machines. That's great grandparents. Like They usually last 3, 4 years, 5 years, tops 6 if you're really lucky. So what kept this washing machine operating? What kept it operating? And I know what kept it operating that long was my tithing. Like everything else. You give 10% of your physical money, but you're connecting with 100% of the energy existing for you. And you make in partnership with the creator. That's your partnership. And when you give it to the center, you're not just making partnership with the creator, you're making partnership with the center, with the energy of the center. You're making partnership with Karen and with the Rav, with Michael and Monica. You're making partnership with the teachers. You're making partnership with the cause. You are becoming unified with that energy. So whenever you need it, you can draw. It's like a friend of mine told me she was sick like 6, 7 months ago, last Lag BaOmer. And I told her, listen, you do so much for the center. All you need to do is to draw back from the bank.
Mm-hmm.
Draw into your life. You give so much away. It's no, you're lacking something. You're connected to a giant bank. You can draw yourself whatever needed. That's the power of doing that. Is having somebody that watch over everything that you belongs. All your physicality and all your spirituality. That's what it does for me. Okay, guys, we need to finish. Thank you so much.